we came here to win didn't happen. We fell short of our goals. We had very strong expectations for ourselves. One of the reasons a lot of people don't put themselves out there and hold those expectations is because when you fall short from them, it's emotional, it's gut-wrenching. I think anyone could play the what-if game, but tonight's ordeal was what we decided to put out there, and that's what happened. Can't change that, can't go back, can only learn from it and move forward from that.
Can't disagree with that. Let's get back to Adam with more on Tua. What's going on?
Well, Sam, one of the significant decisions that the Miami Dolphins will have to make this offseason involves their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who's headed into the last year of his contract, the fifth-year option that the team picked up last year for just over $23 million. If we go back to Tua's draft class, the other quarterbacks drafted around him already have been extended. Joe Burrow for an average of $55 million a year, Justin Herbert for an average of $52 million a year. The Dolphins are scheduled to pay Tua just over $23. They can have him ride that out, although I'm sure he wouldn't be thrilled about that, but that would cast questions about his future with the team. And this is a team that has stood firmly behind Tua in the past, so you'd have to think that the two sides would try to figure out a way to try to get some sort of extension done this offseason. The question will be, what will be the value of that deal? But that will be one of the significant offseason questions that hangs over the Miami Dolphins.
For sure. But I also think we almost need to step back for a second and look at big picture. I mean, this is a guy that last year at this desk, we were talking about, should he keep playing football?
Yeah.
Like, is it safe for this guy to continue? Went through all the games this year, healthy. I mean, worked really hard this offseason to figure out a way. We talked about all the jiu-jitsu stuff. But, Rex, if you're Mike McDaniel this offseason and the front office in Miami, what do you think is the right thing to do with Tua?
Well, I tell you what, my biggest concern with Tua was not the concussion things, which clearly is a concern. It was the hip injury when he came out of college. And how is that hip injury? And here's why I think there's something to this. The man rushed for 6 first downs this year. That's it. It's the extending plays. We've seen it. That's got to be a concern, right? I mean, when he throws on rhythm, this dude is about as accurate as it gets, and it's tremendous. But it's the other thing. I think that's got to clear before they give this guy an extension, that kind of extension. I think they got to worry about that initial injury, because quite honestly, there were some people in NFL circles who didn't think he would play for a second contract. That has to be cleared up before he ever gets a big extension.
I can't help but to think, though, I hear you, Rex. I feel like some of the lack of running was almost mental this year. Like, he took so many hits last year. It was such a big thing for him to come back and stay healthy that I really saw it like a hesitancy to run. And listen, I know he's not Lamar, but like, I think he's gifted enough to occasionally beat you. And we saw he got 2 first downs last night. I think as he gets more comfortable playing again, this is really his first full year playing, a full season of football. He led the NFL in passing. I mean, right. He did some great things. He's got some characteristics, some anticipation. You can't coach. And so there are some unique qualities there. I think Adam brought it up, these contracts, obviously these numbers that some of his peers are making. You know what? There used to be this middle-of-the-road contract for QBs. You know, certainly there was what the elite guys were making, but then there certainly was another tier underneath it that guys made.
Well, team-friendly deal.
The team-friendly deal.
Sure,
it seems to have vanished.
Sure.
It's like if you're a starter, you're making 40+, and if you're getting a rookie. Like, there's no in-between. And for a guy like Tua, certainly.
Do you think he's in a system that's perfect for him?
Well, yeah, but you want, like, listen,
that's what you want.
The reality is you want
right?
Tyreek. You want to re-sign Jalen Waddle. You want a left tackle. You want a running back. Like, you want the pieces in place. And sometimes when you take these huge contracts, like, you really do pigeonhole your there is a give and a take there.
But if I'm his agent, I'm saying he's got numbers better than some of these guys that are being paid 40 to 50
well,
million.
Who has the control is the player, right? He can tell the agent, no, this is where I want to be. I want to play with these guys. I love the system. This is where I want to be. Rex, I'm going to comment on your sort of extending plays thing. Last season was big for Tua. I know people joke about the jiu-jitsu, Sam, but Tua physically learning himself. I think that has to continue into this offseason where he continues to push himself physically. continue jiu-jitsu if you want. Work on your core, your lower body. Can a quarterback gain extra arm strength by focusing on other aspects of his body? We talked Joe Burrow this year. Adam brought up Joe Burrow and the big contract that he had. Remember Joe Burrow this year when we talked about it, how he spoke of how the element he tried to improve on last offseason was his escapability. I know the calf injury prevented that, but that was his goal coming in, to prove that I can get out. Why? We're all watching Patrick Mahomes, and we're all watching what he can do with his arm, and all of a sudden, boom, he's out for a 20-yard gain. Can Tua do maybe half of that if he improved himself physically and his quickness a little bit? I think that's what Tua has to think about as a player.
You know, you're gonna first say that he has the weapons around him, and rightfully so, but everything that this young man has went through last season, this offseason, and then come and put this season together, just to give you a straight up, Sam, he's earned it. You know, for the Miami Dolphins to at least sit down and look at it. The hip could be a problem, but everything this young man has went through, he's earned it.
It's a disappointing end to the season, but I think objectively he had a great year.
Yes.
So we'll see what they do.
Departure of Bill Belichick, a coaching legend in New England, and we now see more coaching quality free agents than we ever have had at any one time in NFL history. So what we thought we'd do today is we thought we would spin the wheel. We have every team on the wheel, and we're going to have you, or each of you guys, spin the wheel and ask if that particular team would be better off with their current head coach or making a move to the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick. So, Rex, you spin the wheel first, and let's see what we come up with, and we can have the discussion about whether Belichick is a fit in that particular spot.
No whammy, no
Give him
whammy, no
somebody
whammy, no
controversial.
whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
No.
Get scripted! Get scripted!
Really?
So, should the Jets consider replacing Robert Saleh with Bill Belichick?
I'm going to say no. Why? Because Belichick will say after one day that I am not going to coach the Jets. So no. You know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. Bill Belichick, yeah, you're pretty good. 6 Super Bowls and all that. 10 trips to the Super Bowl. That ain't bad. But 29 and 37 since Brady left? No, we're going to keep Robert Saleh. Why? You're only as good as your last game you kick your butt. No, we ain't going.
Randy, let's spin the wheel. Randy, spin the wheel.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Give that wheel a little spin. Let's see where it stops right now. That's a good, powerful spin there, Randy.
Don't give me the Jets.
You know, the show's off the air at 1 o'clock.
Andy.
That's an easy one. You know the coach of the Kansas Chiefs. You're not getting rid of Andy Reid.
No, not at all.
Hey, but you know what?
What?
Hey, what if Andy Reid, after the season, decides to walk away? Would you consider hiring Bill Belichick as his replacement?
I would, and the whole Kansas City organization would really consider Bill, but replacing, that's another legend. I'm not giving up Andy Reid.
No, but Andy, if he walks, if he decides he
then
wants
we
to walk,
definitely consider Bill Belichick.
No.
Teddy, step up and spin the wheel.
Whenever it stops, that's when we decide if Bill Belichick is the better coach or not.
Spin the wheel.
I don't need it to stop. I'll take Bill Belichick. All right. I don't need it to stop. I don't need it to stop.
Bill over everybody.
Just Bill. Yeah,
Bill versus everybody. Okay.
Okay, we're talking Peyton.
Well, it's the Denver Broncos. Yeah, they just gave Sean Payton a long-term contract.
Just started. He's there to stay.
Yeah, right to the Bills. Right there. There we go.
Why you got to alter my wheel?
He was right there.
Yeah, it was right there.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Big game coming up, right? All right. This is one of those teams we're talking about. Does the result of this weekend matter? But still, Sean McVay or Bill Belichick?
Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott, Bill McVay.
Sean McDermott, Bill Belichick. That's the choice.
I'm putting Bill Belichick right there. Absolutely.
Over Sean McDermott.
Over McDermott. I put him there with Josh Allen, and it would be champion.
That'd be scary.
Ooh, that would be scary.
Let me get in here.
Alex,
Let me
give me a
get in
spin.
here. Come on, give me something easy.
49.
Come on.
That's easy.
That's about as simple as it gets, right? Okay, we got the.
Another
Ours ain't going nowhere.
You're not.
Good. Let's do the. We're back to the Colts.
Shane Steichen, I think this is the one where it doesn't work. I think these young offensive coaches with young quarterbacks, Steichen, right? You're not replacing him. McVay, you're not. These guys that are linked, Zach Taylor with Burrow, those guys are in place.
What about there? What about there, Alex? What about there?
I mean, I think this absolutely falls in line with Tedy and the Bills. Like, if they lose this game, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
You're moving on from Mike McCarthy for Bill Belichick if they lose this game.
I think it's very probable. Jerry Jones, the pressure of that organization. I mean, did not have results in the postseason, and you're telling me you got one of the best game day coaches of all time with Dak and that offense?
One more spin. Spin it again.
And this is why it's a fascinating exercise, because you can have a discussion over every team. Miami Dolphins. Would you move on? You guys were giving Mike McDaniel grief earlier today.
No.
You're not doing that. He's aligned with Tua Tagovailoa.
And the league is also about development of quarterbacks and coaches.
And
I think this is a young coach that can develop.
So Miami wouldn't do it. But, again, every owner has to figure out what they're doing, right? Like the one going around right now, you know, that's like flying like wildfire in the coaching universe.
You're controlling the wheel, but that's okay.
What do you do for the Philadelphia Eagles? Rex?
Man, oh man. I mean, I keep my guy. I keep my guy. And one of the reasons is because Bill Belichick's 71. You have a young guy that went to a Super Bowl, and Nick Sirianni, I'm going to keep him. I'm going to replace the defense, though. My God. Go try to get you a real coordinator, not one of these.
All they did was fall off since they were 10-1. That has to be considered what a head coach does for a team down the stretch, what this team is done. It's like they're falling apart here, okay? Yeah. These Eagles. It'll be interesting to watch.
But we're 3 years in a row, though.
Yeah, we're at a rare moment in time. Rare moment. Bill Belichick is available. Pete Carroll's available. Mike Vrabel's available. Jim Harbaugh potentially could be available. There are a lot of great coaches out there.